Okay, today I'm going to read some Bible verses. I've decided to do this because people are they're kind of strange about what they read, and some people take stuff literally and other things not. So that's what I'm doing here. Um, Let us take that one that they always cite from Ephesians today. They usually probably start with verse 22 of this chapter, but I start with verse 21 because literally it wouldn't be right without it. Okay. And this is from chapter 5 of Ephesians. Okay. What I'm reading out of has two different um, things. It has the original Greek text of the New Testament plus a new translation, so you don't get confused here. So let's read it first as what it says is a new revised standard version, actually. That's what it is. Be subject to one another out of reverence for Christ. That's verse 21. Wives, be subject to your husbands as you are to the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, just as Christ is head of the church, the body of which is he is their Savior. Just as the church is subject to Christ, also wives should be in everything to their husbands. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, in order to make her holy by cleansing her with the washing water by the word, so as to present the church to himself in splendor, without a spot or wrinkle or any of the kind. Yes, so that she may be holy and without blemish. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as they do their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one hates his own body, but he nourishes and tenderly cares for it, just as Christ does for the church, because we are members of his body. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two will become flesh. This is a great mystery, and I am applying it to Christ and the church. Each of you, however, should love his wife as he loves himself, and a wife should respect her husband. Okay, that's the whole thing. We have to notice that I say without verse 21, it makes absolutely no sense because it leads into, it says subject right there to one another. Okay? It doesn't mean that this husband's supposed to order his wife about like she's some sort of child or anything. It means he's supposed to love her. Loving her is respecting her, basically. That's it. And, well, let's see what it says literally from Greek. Being submissive to one another in fear of Christ. They got the in like brackets. It's an assumed word. The wives to their own husbands as to the Lord, because a husband is head of the wife, as also Christ head of the church, and is in brackets, himself Savior of the body, and being himself brackets the is brackets too before Savior. But as the church submissive to Christ, so also the wives to the husbands in everything. But someone put their assumed, and the husbands love the wives, but they put your, as also Christ loved the church and gave up himself on behalf of her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed And then there's a brackets her, by the washing of the water in word, and then there's the before word in brackets, that he might present to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such things, but that she may be holy and blemishless. So ought also, and then that word on the top is looks like it's been placed in brackets, so it's not always there either. The husbands to love their own wives, and then they got wife in parentheses there, as their own bodies, body in parentheses, the one loving his own wife loves himself, for no one ever his own flesh hated, but nourishes and cherishes it, as also Christ, too in brackets, the church, because we are members of the body of him. Because of this, a man will leave the his in parentheses and the above word the to it looks like something like that. Oh wait, that would be tone. Yeah. Okay, I forgot. The V is like an N or something. The father, the his, parentheses, brackets around. Okay, that'd be THN, I think. Then. But that's what the word is in brackets. But it's T like an N with a long tail V. And then mother, and will be joined to the wife of him, and will be the two one flesh. This mystery is great, but I speak as to Christ and as to the church. Nevertheless, also you, one by one, each his own wives, so let love as himself, and the wife that she respects the, and then her in parentheses, husband. I'm not sure I can pronounce all these Greek words. I wanted to, but it's going to take such a long time. I'm going to have to pick stuff out. Okay. Ugh. Let's try this being submissive one. It's like the Greek. I'm not the best at this because I had to read it from. I've been not taught to pronounce everything. I just kind of. Okay, I'm going to look it up because I'm I'm rusty on it even from the research I used to do. So that's here it is. Y is probably, I think the Y that it looks like is supposed to be pronounced G or something like that. And the double T is actually a P. So Y. Yep. Like I'm looking at it as what I would think it would be in our letters. So I have to find the closest word to it in here. And their P is R, whether you believe it or not. So I'm not even finding that word in here. I'm trying to find it. I don't see Y and the pi symbol here anywhere right now. Okay. Yeah, I didn't find it. Okay, let's skip that. See if I can find. It says being submissive, so I suppose it's a compound word. And that's not totus, it'd be potas, mioiv, something like that. Why they might be using, might assume it applies to women, because I'm not finding it here. And there's suppliant subject. See, okay, subject, noun, theme. Well, subject as a theme does start with, it starts with a U apparently. I guess they sometimes interchange the U's and Y's in this language. But it's actually closer to what they have here. And that would be subject as a theme. So I don't see submit. Alright, well, then I won't be able to share that word with you since it's a compound word of some sort. But it does say basically the wives to their own husbands. But it doesn't say subject or submit. So they mean basically they're supposed to be a part of, basically you have to assume that it's not that you would be harsh to them because it says round farther. It's hard, or you don't have to be harsh with your wife, okay? You be nice to your wife, you be good to your wife. That's what they're trying to say. You don't order them about, you treat them like another human being, basically. That's why they say love and not. Well, anyway, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing here as a pattern. Then let's see, I got the right one here. Okay, the next part that I had marked was something, Colossians 3:18. They have wives be subject to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and never treat them harshly. So basically, it's 3:18 and 3:19. It's basically a paraphrase of what he said before. Now this one does subject, but it means, apparently according to my Greek dictionary, that form of subject is a noun, not a verb. The wives, subject yourselves to the, in brackets, your husbands. Or I mean parentheses, brackets aren't here. This, as is proper in Lord, the is assumed in brackets. The husbands love the, and then yours in parentheses, wives, and do not be bitter against them. Okay. So basically, they're supposed to be in the leadership of their husband, but what are they asking for? What do they ask for here? They're asking for that the husbands love their wives as well. You're not subject to this evil, cruel ruler, apparently. He can't force you to do anything. It says you're supposed to be good, a good person, serve the wife like he serves the Lord. Okay? Basically, so that would mean that the husband's supposed to treat his wife right and good, and he's supposed to lead her in that manner if he wants to take the headship or whatever they want to express. But when you take the headship thing here, this word, kafel, can mean literal head to a body, which makes more sense when they call the wives the body, like the church is the body. Okay? Now, what that entails is mean the head and the body are joined like one unit. It doesn't mean that he orders her about all the time. He has to have this head on him to be able to take care of the family and everything and to make sure everybody's safe. It doesn't mean he's going to be Mr. Big Stuff. Because Christ asks you to be humble. I know that that's in there. He likes humble people. And I don't know if you want to. I don't have the Old Testament verse on me. I know it's around Genesis. It refers back to this one verse in Genesis I can't tell you the exact number right now offhand. You can look it up. It's easy to find. Or a husband cleaves to their wives after he leaves the parents. You don't just take over and take charge. He's just, leaving his parents, being part of the family unit. Okay, and then there was the verse. We also have to make sure we understand the commandments in order to understand this, because we know that the first commandment is to love God first. There is a difference in Paul's version of events. He recommends that in some part, I wish I had that. I don't know if I have that marked or not. Okay, yeah, maybe I do. All right, and it just said something about a woman should stay with a man even if they don't believe, and it makes them sanctified. I know that there's that part there. But I don't believe that if a man is really bad to a woman, if you don't fulfill your part of the loving part, then a woman has every right to leave you. And he's just suggesting that you should be reconciled if you want your wife back, instead of taking a new wife. I know in the Old Testament it said something quite different, that you should not go back to your old wife if you married someone else. So I'm thinking that a lot of the things he is doing is suggesting how he takes the religion. That if we do read that Old Testament, it was if you put him away and you married someone else, you can't go back. So there's a little bit of a difference there. Basically that's about it. I just wanted to prove to you that. Okay, well, had to change headbands because I can't find the other one. But anyway, what I wanted to prove is that being an overbearing person is not a good idea if you're the husband in a relationship. And we have to understand things from different viewpoints, and what would best be that happens there. You can take. You don't have to take my word for it. You can read these verses. If you don't like that I'm teaching you something, just consider it more an advice on how to take it, because I'm not really teaching you anything that isn't in there except for my opinion on what I believe it means. Okay, and that'll be all for the recording. Thank you. Hmm. Okay. But the wives cleave to their husband. It doesn't say